Okay, so the stats, I have about 4,000 cards. If we look at the like progressions from like last month, that should probably, it's supposed to be like 4,200-ish, but about 2 weeks ago, around mid-May, I was tired because I, did something bad with my sleep cycle and stuff like that. So I forgot to immerse, and then I also didn't make enough Anki cards, so it was weird, but whatever, I don't really care. But I also tuned down my Anki cards. I decided to do less Anki card every day, and it's been really well right now. It's working really well with me. I mean, just a difference of like 20 cards that you review every single day is like, it's pretty big in my opinion. So I've been doing more reading than ever. I have read my first novel, or you could call it web novel, but it's basically the same because most novels are also the same length, albeit more difficult, obviously. My first web novel is 살아있다. It's so good. That's my first experience reading an actual like stuff that is made for native technically. I mean, it's definitely on the easier part of easier pyeon of literature in Korean, but at least it wasn't made for Korean learners, I believe, right? Even though the language that the book uses is very easy. And even from that web novel, it's about like 160 pages. I got 500 new words at least. So that was very eye-opening, I guess, because even though it's easy, and sometimes I understand a whole paragraph, even a whole page, which was very motivating. At the same time, sometimes I don't understand an entire paragraph. Like I understand, but like I have so many I+1, which is a good thing, obviously, since probably all the words there are common. Like if I don't know anything and I've never read a novel, I think it's safe to assume that everything that I see is common, and I look up everything, because what's the point of reading if you don't look up everything, in my opinion? Because I have took a pretty late step on reading. Like I started reading on about 8 months into learning Korean, even though I should have read it like all the way back to like 4 months, maybe 5 months in. I could have done way more books right now, but I didn't. But that's fine, because it's better to do it now than not do it anytime soon. So I already finished that, and right now I'm reading my second book, 나는 아직 살아있다. It's about like zombie type of thing. It's more than 2 books. It's like 5 books or something. But because I can't afford to pay that, and you can only actually you could actually read it. You can actually read the first book. It's I have a link. I might put it in the description if I don't forget. I think the first book is free, but then the other book is not. But I have the EPUB for all the books, I believe. And right now I'm like halfway through the first book. So it's been really good. It's way harder. To some extent, it's a bit harder than 살아있다, but it's just the right mix of hardness that I learned something new. So it's been working really well. And at the same time, I'm also reading 문화가 있는 한국어 일기 5, which is Korean reading with culture 5. I am like 75% into the book, and I actually have said that I was about to finish the book like maybe 2 months ago, probably, but I didn't do that back then because it was too hard. But barely now, right now, I can read most of the book. Like if I'm committed to learning only Korean and I have so much time, I could probably read that entire book in like less than a week. And right now, because I'm really still into my novels more than this article-based graded reader, I don't spend that much time, but all of this progress that I have on the book was way faster than a couple of months ago. Like I can read stuff way faster and way easier than a couple of months ago. That might be a, what do you call it, Dunning-Kruger effect. Like I might overestimate my ability, but I can assure you that if I read the same thing that I've read and the amount of progress that I've made, if I were to do that, like let's say just 2 months ago, I couldn't do that. So I think partly that's because 살아있다, even though it's not that hard, it really exposed my brain to like actual Korean, where I have to like imagine the characters, imagine what they're trying to do, and there are way more words that are like very onomatopoeia, like the word for like barking, like woof woof, that's like I don't know how to say it in English, but like words that are made from the sound of something. There are so many of those in Korean, right? Obviously. So you start to having all of these description words and all of these like perspective in how the story are laid out in different characters. And so that was really my first experience reading stuff that are like very real, and like real just text. And I'm very proud that I understand that, because I mean, I don't know, I should be proud technically, because like I'm like 11 months, but you know, sometimes you gotta appreciate what you have been able to do. Like there are moments in my life where I can't even read Hangul, right? So that must be some progress, but obviously you don't want to just think that you're good just because you, I mean, like the best comparison is yourself in the past, obviously, but you don't want to just look at yourself without looking at others. There are people that are on my same timeline as me that they've read more books, so I need to catch up on that. Not that it's a competition, obviously, but like, you know, they have more experience and I can ask them more books in the Refold server. There are some people who are like that, and I mean, all of my books came from the Refold server, so I'm very thankful for everyone in there. And yeah, that's like basically everything. I also made a list of K-drama that I want to watch. I opened like 10 different websites and I ranked them all the drama that are most popular. And I watched some of them, but only the first episode, and none of them get my attention. So I was actually planning this month, the remainder of this month until next month, or until my 1 year timeline, 1 year, what do you call it, update, I guess, that I'm gonna probably watch more web drama than K-drama. And it's not necessarily just that I can't bear watching K-drama, but also the fact that K-drama is just so long. It's like an hour. I could not just like, I mean, you could technically do like watch 25 minutes, take a break, but like, I don't know, that like defeats the purpose. Like you already want to be immersing, and if it's not interesting in the first place, you shouldn't push yourself with that material that you want to watch in the language. You better skip it. So like you don't want to dwell on some material of immersion that are like a bit too high for you right now, because you'll get there if you keep immersing. So I actually want to watch web drama. I've found a lot of people recommending web dramas in the Refold server, and I want to watch them. But the problem is web dramas are very cringy. Like the setting, most of them are like high school romance type stuff, and they're very, very cringy. And the expressions are very, what do you call it, simhage. Like it's very, I don't know, it's very over the top. So I'm stuck with either watching K-drama that are possibly interesting, which is very rare in my opinion, or watching web drama that are shorter. I can watch way more, I can probably understand way more, they have subtitles that I can mine from, but the cons is that they're very cringy. So I don't know. In the meantime though, I have found so much more radio podcasts from like 2010. Like there's if you don't know, the singer IU and Taeyeon from Girls' Generation, I found old radio, like MBC type stuff, and I enjoy it so much, because that's like my go-to immersion that I will never get bored, is radio show and podcast. And my favorite show on Naver now, Heiju Ilgi. Heiju actually just dropped an album, like I believe today, or was it yesterday? So I don't know, I've been enjoying that way more. Like I've always enjoyed that, I suppose. And yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to read more. I'm expecting to be able to read, like I've always said at all of my videos for the past few months, is that by the end of this month, about like 18 months in, I want to be able to read like native stuff. And I hope that in each of the novels that I read, I make less than 200 cards. I found I might look up more than 200, but like I make less than 200 Anki cards. I would love for that to happen. And I think that could happen if I am willing to do the work on reading. The rest of it though, I have found another golden immersion thing that I really like right now. I really like watching tech YouTubers, because they speak really quickly, and there's a lot of technology words. It's not a good idea to expand your domain like this, but you know, at the end of the day, you have to enjoy your immersion, and I really enjoy this thing. And a lot of them also have vlogs, and I also watch vlogs in Korean, some of them, and sometimes I actually found new content from the words that I look up the pronunciation in youglish.com, I actually opened the video on YouTube and I watch it. So I found so many channels from my looking up pronunciation. And I would recommend anyone who is still in the beginner stages, if there's any in here that watches me that still in the beginner phases. I mean, probably I'm the only one who's still in all this thing, never read a novel. Sarajin Ai, it's the go-to. It's probably mediocre. Now that I think about it, let's say I've read 10 books, probably I would think that Sarajin Ai is very mediocre. Not only from the story, but also because the book is very easy in terms of the amount of vocab that you need to be able to read that. So, I don't know, it might be boring if you're a bit advanced, but for a beginner, I think the first book that you read, to some degree, because you finished it, you enjoy it and you realize that, oh my god, it's getting real. I can read Korean, I guess, to some degree. So, I watch a lot of YouTube shorts. It's basically 60-second videos, right, on YouTube, on my account that is purely in Korean, so that I don't have to be worried that I accidentally watch an English video. I understand the majority of that very short video, like a random clip from a K-pop idol, I don't know, from a TV show, or a random person shaking the soju bottle before opening it, to a random news, to random clips of edited K-pop videos, to an edited cut version of a Instagram live of a K-pop idol. I can understand all of them. And I know this might be me overestimating what I understand, but at least, somehow my brains are not this is not gibberish, bro. You're making progress, and I think that's important. I haven't listened to K-pop for a long time now. And I mean, K-pop has never been my main motivation in Korean. But I just want to add this to people that might listen to this, I guess, because the majority of people that learn in Korean are probably because of K-pop or K-drama, anything with the Korean wave. I can guarantee you that by the end of your immersion, if you actually stick with it and you reach quote unquote fluency in Korean, you would not stick in Korean just because of the first thing that get you attracted to Korean. Because, for example, if you learn Korean because of, I don't know, BTS, if you get to Korean to fluency with the immersion method, you will not, basically only watch BTS, because you need to read books, and reading books is the fastest way you're gonna get vocab, really quickly, really super quickly. And thank you for listening to this video. Hopefully your immersion is doing well, or I don't know, this might be some help to you. I guess the links in the description might be some help. And maybe in my 1 year update, it's gonna be the same. I'm not gonna be oh my god, I've learned so much in a year. Right now I can understand blah blah blah, like some other YouTubers. No, not YouTubers, immersion learners that have tried MIA. Well, most of them are Japanese, obviously. Maybe all of them are Japanese. They are at a 1 year update video. All of them are able to read what they want, blah blah blah. And I agree with another immersion learners in Korean that is way ahead of me. His name is Retro. I think he's true on the fact that Korean has to be harder than Japanese, because for some reason, I'm not gonna lie to you, Korean has way more words on things that are the same, and Korean has way more descriptive words. And comparing to English, which English is my second language, well, not my third language, basically I can guarantee you that English is, you need less words to, I don't know, be able to read whatever you want in English than in Korean. Korean, probably you need instead of just 10,000 sentences, you probably need maybe 15,000, maybe 18,000, 20,000, I don't know. But it's definitely way more than what you probably would need in Japanese. And this is just my speculation, obviously, but I don't know, I guess we'll see in the future if I ever learn Japanese, which I probably will or not, I don't know. I don't see learning a lot of languages as an achievement, unlike some idiots on Twitter. And I'm sorry I have to use the word idiot, but seriously, if you're learning 10 languages, unless you're doing it because you really like languages, if you think you're gonna get fluent, you're dumb. I mean, I appreciate if you are honest to yourself, you just learn 10 languages because you just can't get enough of languages, and you see a new language, you hear it, and you're oh my god, I am so horny, I want to learn that language. Unless you're that kind of person and you think that you can get fluent in 10 languages, you're crazy. It takes so much effort. And the immersion method made all those effortless because you enjoy learning the language. That's all for me. Peace out. Don't forget to immerse. I love you. Thank you.